Hey, hey, hi guys, welcome back. All right, so let's jump on into this. This is going to be whatever the love message will be for today, the love storyline. What's it got to do with? We have security. Okay, so first off, we have got some beautiful cave art, cave paintings. This idea of security in regards to the topic of love takes a character way back to the ancestors, to remembering like we're a product of a whole lineage, and that even our past memories, the past that we've lived, is important to us. It's given us wisdom. It's given us some pieces of who we are today, so we can rely on past experiences because we gained information, we gained wisdom, we become smarter and stronger no matter where our life has taken us because we've had life experiences. But we're also a product of our ancestors and what they learned throughout that, like evolutionary process. Um, we got smarter because we learned more about the things to eat that are good to eat versus the things that are not good to eat. Lots of oral traditions were passed on throughout generations. um, Lots of important information even before we wrote books. Information was handed down through the lineages, and that is a form of abundance that we can fall back on and a sense of security that we can fall back on. So there's an overall sense of well-being if our character thinks back to the past with a positive mindset. What have I experienced in my life in the past? What did I learn, and how does that help me today? Instead of like, oh God, those memories I don't even want to remember. It's like, yeah, but there's wisdom in those old memories. So if we revisit the past at all, it should just be with that positive, like, I gained wisdom, I gained knowledge that will help me moving forward, especially in matters of the heart and matters of love. But then there's also, and I don't know yet, but I'm starting to wonder if we're going to have a past life storytelling. I have to say, lots of times, uh, past life stories are like really exciting. We have all those ideas of, oh, someone was a famous person, or they were alive during a really tumultuous time in history, and it was adventure and kind of romanticized. It's set up against backdrops of pirates and 1800s and just you name it, right? This is like if somebody has a past life connection that they're vaguely having a deja vu about, it goes back to the Stone Age. It goes back to prehistoric. It goes back to which I think is really interesting because I've never had a storyline come out where someone may have flashbacks of prehistoric, which is I always love the stories that take us into fantastical directions. Lessons and blessings. Lessons and blessings. Interesting that we have a pocket watch, right? So now again I'm thinking like 17, 1800s, but time is important. This is going to be a little time travel story. So tell me about this. If a character is having some kind of, oh, sorry, I can barely even reach that. If a character, sorry, you guys are probably looking in my nostrils or my ears or my imperfect skin. That is okay. This looking right into my pores. Sorry. We have a character that is perhaps, I'm going to say, having deja vu moments, but interestingly enough, if they are having memories surface of, like I say, ancestors or their life in a cave dwelling era, that mental time travel that they're having is giving them a sense of security, a sense of peace. Maybe in a changing and dynamic world where we see all kinds of things shifting, maybe it's even like, oh, I remember I lived through some of this before. you know, um, there have always been changes throughout history, changes in, like a dynamic. Maybe our character's about to be moving to a new climate, a new location, a new place on Earth. Maybe they're even drawn to go someplace and they don't really know why. Maybe they feel drawn to going to see caves and they don't know why, but they do. There's some connection that's going to give them a huge sense of security. It's almost like a character needs to go back and touch um, touch that those old stones. I don't know. This is very specific. I don't know how this has to do with love just yet, unless the cave is the inner heart space. But if a character is going back in deja vu moments or having a memory resurface from a past life, it is a very long ago past life where they learned something very important to pull to the surface of their mind now. We have the Seven of Swords and we have, okay, if we think about this like during an era of cave dwelling humans where there were precious few tools or instruments, it's like pre-bronze era, so they're just using like rocks and maybe pieces of obsidian for like arrowheads and such. The idea of their relationship with nature and predators comes into the focus and the forefront of maybe a character's memory. Now, fast forward and say our character is having a past life memory of, I do feel secure when I find a nice, safe place to live in my cave. I'm safe and secure from predators. I'm safe and secure from people who lie to me, even though I know that they're out there lurking. And I'm wondering if this is the way a character is looking at the idea of love. And they're saying, I don't have to be so scared that every person I meet is going to be some potential predator because I am safe. I am protected. I know I know how to protect myself, particularly in love. And part of that could go all the way back to a past life memory where, admittedly, I would say people were much less secure, right? You don't exactly have like a lock and windows with, on your the door of your cave, right? But they're remembering, even at a time where the world was much more wild, there's much less security. I was still protected. If I find myself in a new environment, I also know how to find a location where I can be safe and protected. I've known how to do this in all my lifetimes. So those predators that are out there, and they are out there, I still know how to protect myself. We got a Two of Swords. We got the Death and Rebirth. We have a character who's about to have to make a decision in their life. And this decision could be to step maybe into the dating world. And they are nervous to do it, but they're reminding themselves that I'm protected. I know how to protect myself. Which doorway do I want to open for myself? You know, I could stay in my cave, but in all honesty, I got to go out and forage for food anyway. I got to go out and do stuff. And I do believe that there's a measure of protection around me. I believe my instincts will let me know if something doesn't seem to be on the up and up. So I think I'm going to move forward with personal success, personal belief that I can. I'm going to say this could be a character who got very wounded at one point, but they know that uh, they have the wisdom and the knowledge on how to protect themselves. So their fears are kind of being crushed because they're ready to come back out, even though they know that there can be predators. But their fears about this are about to be crushed. They're about to feel a lot better. We got that Nine of Cups. We have a character who needed to get themselves out and enjoying life instead of feeling like I need to stay in my cave and protect myself. There is very ancient wisdom. And interestingly enough, even though the ancient wisdom comes from a deja vu moment of remembering what it was like to have predators around them, there's also like maybe this character fought off a jaguar at one point, a saber-toothed tiger in a past life. And they're like, you know what? I mean, they painted something on the wall to mark what they did. I'm still here. I took on a saber-toothed tiger and I'm the one who won. I know I can handle myself. It almost feels like that to me. Like this character knows that they have a sense of power and a sense of, I'll be all right. I don't need to keep myself locked up. I should be out there enjoying my life. This really feels like a character who is kind of pumping themselves up, saying, my heart's going to be just fine. I want to come out in the sun. We got the sun card. I want to get out there. Look at the difference. We have these dark cards moving to golden and light and white and sparkling energy, right? So we have had a character that was pretty protective over their heart for a while. And then something started to, some deep intuitive side of them, or some deeply held past life memory resurfaced that said, hey, if you can fight off a tiger, if you can fight off some, jaguar, you can handle yourself in the 21st century too. You got this. You got nothing to be scared of. Get out there and live your best life. Live it fully. You know what? This character said, for a while, they wanted to hide. They didn't even want to be seen by anyone. This character is not meant to be hidden. I think, I said this is kind of like the daily love tarot storytelling, but this is a little different than that in the sense that we have a character who almost, I think, was afraid that being seen, like maybe this is a famous person or someone who didn't want people to even notice them. They wanted to hide away from the fame. They wanted to, because they didn't want their whole life on display. And now they're like, screw it. What do I care? I'm going to be successful. I'm going to walk in the sunlight. I'm going to wear my bikini. I'm going to date when I want to date. I'm going to spend time with people. I'm going to meet people instead of always thinking that someone is out there to, like, I don't know, crash my reputation or something. I'm entitled to live openly and lovingly. Maybe this is someone who had to come out of the closet, figuratively or literally. I feel like they tucked themselves away for a really long time because they didn't think that it was necessarily safe to just go ahead and do what they wanted. And they were almost on the cusp of saying, maybe if I do emerge, maybe I should behave this way, or maybe I should behave that way. It's almost like, which persona do I need to wear? And I think their bottom line is, let me remember back to that past life when I fought that jaguar, that saber-toothed tiger, and I was the one still standing. Let me remember that I am here to live my best life. I am here. I am unstoppable. I am allowed to shine. I'm allowed to shine as my authentic self. I am allowed to not have to be continuously worried about, oh gosh, but what about this? What about that? This character could be a really attractive person who was like also deeply shy. Maybe they got brokenhearted. Maybe they got manipulated. Maybe they were made to feel like they just wanted to hide from everybody. Because sure, the world can be an unkind place. There can be people that lie. There can be people that lie about this character, and that really was like, I just want to hide. I don't even want anybody to know my name. I want to go incognito. I just want to dissolve, just disappear from the public eye. But you know what? Our character realizes they are not meant to have to live in shadows and hide, especially hide from liars. No, they don't have to do that. They have every right to live their best life in the sunlight. Who cares who sees them? Who cares who takes pictures of them? Paparazzi, whatevs. Doesn't matter. I get to connect and be friends with whomever I wish. I get to date and love however I wish. The trick to all this, I think, is for this character to be unapologetically themselves. And that's what the storyline has been about. This is a character, maybe they had their reputation attacked at one point, and they're like, screw that. Why do I have to hang my head in like I've been shamed somehow because somebody else attacked my reputation? I don't care. I didn't do anything wrong other than live my life the way I want to. If someone doesn't like it, that's their problem. If they want to wreck my reputation for it, that's their problem. I get to do what I want, be seen however I want to be seen, however I choose to conduct myself. I really feel like this was a character who somehow, I don't know if they got ostracized or what, but this is a character who is not willing to hide themselves anymore. But they definitely had some past life memory surface that gave them strength and security in who they are. The lessons and blessings. This is a really empowered storyline, and it does have to do with who this person is going to love and how they're going to go ahead and be seen with whomever they want to be seen with, whatever kind of relationship they want to be in. It doesn't matter, you know, genders, and none of that stuff is part of the story per se, but that could be the main part of the story. This could be what this is about. I see it as a personal empowerment story for characters to not worry about the people that will disapprove of their life choices, and they had to get over the shame of, oh my gosh, what if somebody tells lies about me because they disapprove of me and then that ruins my reputation? I just want to hide. This character should not have to hide their life. Nobody should have to hide, especially when it, you know, we all have sovereign right to be who we want to be. Especially all this character wants to do is have like a good life, enjoy the things that are authentic for them, whatever their golden eggs are, whatever their happy lifestyle choices are. They're not hurting anybody else by living their life. Maybe someone disapproved of, you know, however they were displaying themselves, you know, to the world, and they could have had someone who like really tried to insult them or make them feel like you shouldn't be that person. They don't care. I think this character is going to go ahead and love who they love, date who they want to date, be around whoever they want to be around, stand up for what they want to stand up for, live their best life. Look at this chariot and present moment. They are not going to be consistently worried about the optics of what they're doing, how they're doing life. It feels like someone really tried to guilt trip them into playing small. I think our character is already in love with someone. Look, dolphins are one of the few species that mate not just for procreation, but for pleasure and enjoyment. And dolphins are playful and they're intelligent and they have a great time. I feel like our character is finally allowing themselves to just move forward without guilt and shame about who they're attracted to, who they love, what kind of lifestyle they want to live that's right for them. And they're going to live in the present moment instead of worry about how might this reflect on me later, because ultimately, why do I have to apologize? Yep, I picked that person. Yep, I wanted to hang out with that person. Yep, I want to move forward in this relationship. That's what I'm doing. I'm owning my choices because this is who I am, and I have no reason that I can't be happy, especially living in the present moment and not stressing out about how it might look. That I think is a really profound message here, because I think this poor character was like really, for a while anyway, they kind of just felt like they had to somehow subdue themselves, hide themselves away so they didn't offend others. And they're kind of fed up with that, which is so awesome. They feel so much more secure just remembering that if a saber-toothed tiger in a past life couldn't take me down, neither can the haters and the people that disapprove of who I love. Because whose business is it who I love, who I connect to? Very powerful. We get the Four of Cups in the reverse. This character has committed themselves to something major, which is, I'm not going to protect other people from my choices so they never have to be offended. If you're offended, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. I think Ricky Gervais said that, and I thought that's the greatest comment ever. Just because someone is offended doesn't mean that they're right. People can be offended by anything. That's their prerogative. Doesn't mean we got to. So what, we run around and we make sure that no one else is ever offended by us? That's their offense is their problem. Now, if we're going out and trying to offend people, to hurt people, thing, but just the act of loving who one loves, living joyfully, how could that be offensive to someone else unless that person is a freaking control freak? And I think this character is saying, I'm not going to live with regrets all because I thought I have to stick to someone else's script for my life. Otherwise, they'll be offended. I people from things that they don't think are comfortable. Because my life, they shouldn't even be focusing. If you don't like what you see, don't look at my life. I'm living my life. This is very much the freedom to love somebody. I think this character is going to connect with whomever it is that they really love. And I think they're going to do it unapologetically and have possibly the best life they've ever lived, the most satisfying love life they've ever had. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Good for this character. Good for them.